I am Maria Bloise and today I want to talk to you about dyslexia. I want to explain how a foreign language should be taught to dyslexic people. It is important to spread correct information in order to break down the barriers that cultural ignorance have raised at the expense of integration by clarifying that dyslexia is not a disease, a disability, nor a limitation, but it is mostly a gift. It is a specific learning difficulty referring to writing and reading processes. According to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders, to diagnose dyslexia, there should not be physical impairments and cognitive retardation. Some of the greatest geniuses in the history of mankind were dyslexic: Da Vinci, Picasso, and Einstein. They all used dyslexia to nurture their talent. Today, I want to mention Albert Einstein. He worked hard to overcome his learning difficulties, and his report card is the proof. Teachers didn't understand his talent. In fact, his genius came out only in his adulthood. When he became maths teacher, said to a student, "Don't worry about your difficulties with mathematics. I struggled more than you." The law number 170 of October 2010 focuses on individualized and personalized educational plans and the option to avail of compensatory tools and dispensatory measures. It also provides new evaluation criteria and it establishes to draw up an individualized educational plan yearly. Voice recorder, speech synthesis servers, calculator, mind maps, computer programs are alternative means of assessment that replace or simplify activities in which dyslexic have an impairment. Students with dyslexia can have extra time to complete tasks, can take notes, and can have work assignments that are modified appropriately. Students can be exempted from written examinations, and for the state examination, this can be substituted by oral examinations. Writing letters back to front, particularly B and D, putting words in the wrong order, misspelling common words or running sentences together are alarm signals to recognize as soon as possible in kindergarten, but dyslexia can be diagnosed after the second and third primary school classes. Some languages increase dyslexic symptoms while others lessen them. The following elements emphasize the relationship between dyslexia and a foreign language: orthographic transparency, the phoneme-grapheme correspondence, linguistic affinities, similarities between two languages concerning phonology, syntax, and lexicon. English has similarities with Italian because some English words came from French and Latin, and Italian lexicon is using a lot of English words. It should be necessary to exempt dyslexic from memorizing concepts, to use metacognitive strategies, to provide an inspiring learning context, and to avoid translation exercises. One of the most frequently recommended teaching methods for dyslexic learners is the so-called multisensory structured learning approach. As its name suggests, the MSL approach teaches elements of foreign language through the activation of auditory, visual, tactile, and kinesthetic pathways. Using color can be helpful for students with an SPLD if they are strongly visual learners. During English learning, a dyslexic can face some difficulties due to the huge number of sounds in oral language and the several ways of writing them. Difficulties encountered in teaching English as a foreign language to the Italian dyslexic: when H is silent and when it is not, homophones, words with two vowels, combined timbering, the pronunciation of words with A, U, August, and Auto. English teaching begins in kindergarten with conversation, games, songs, and nursery rhymes, such as Simon Says and the ABC Song. The first thing to do is to teach the names of graphemes. Names of consonants are similar to Italian consonants, so dyslexic students do not find them difficult, with the exception of B and D. Italian children have also to learn new consonants: J, K, W, X, and Y. An important aspect of phonological awareness is the ability to segment words into their component sounds, which are called phonemes. Once students have developed the awareness of phonemes of spoken language, they must learn how to map the phonemes to symbols or printed letters. Teachers, to be sure children can read and write words, can use the exercise "Change a Letter." The exercise starts with a word of 3 letters, cat. Then it continues with other words, and the student has to substitute letters. In this way, the student understands what the sound changes. Reading comprehension is one of the main objectives of foreign language teaching. In order to understand the meaning of a text, students need to know the WH question words, as they allow students to find information in the text. Grammar teaching must be supported by compensatory tools such as schematic diagrams with the main grammar rules, charts with verbs lists, or sheets with examples of sentences constructions. As SPLD students have difficulty memorizing verbs, it is useful to give them a chart with verbs associated to images. Labeling is an activity proposed at school to teach lexicon. It consists in putting the name of the objects in a picture. Another exercise consists in creating a list of English words linked to images, allowing students to understand the Italian translation. It is preferable to carry out oral examinations, and in case of written exams, it is necessary to judge the content, not the orthographic mistakes. Teachers have to give clear text with translation of the exercise in mother tongue. The exercise students cannot complete is writing a dialogue which is written in the third person, so it is preferable to use direct speech because it is clear and involves less passages. Dyslexic children can use computer software in order to hone their skills and knowledge. Several software were created to help dyslexics learn while they're playing. Students can work on deficit areas, improving phoneme grapheme mapping. Because dyslexics think in pictures, not with the sounds of words, they mainly have trouble with words that do not produce a mental picture. Disorientation is a natural phenomenon. You experience it when you get dizzy and things seem to move on their own. Dyslexics use disorientation to resolve confusion about real-world objects and places by constructing a three-dimensional mental model. When reading, dyslexics become disoriented when they encounter trigger words. In Italian, there are more than 200 trigger words that cause disorientation because they do not represent concrete objects or actions. And remember, everybody is a genius, but if we judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid.